This is Bx2 to Mott 136th Street. Next stop, Sedgwick Avenue and Fort Independence Street. Transfer available to BXM3. This stop is Sedgwick Avenue and Fort Independence Street. Next stop, Sedgwick Avenue and Giles Place. This stop is Sedgwick Avenue and Giles Place. Next stop, Sedgwick Avenue and Stevenson Place 1. This stop is Sedgwick Avenue and Stevenson Place 1. Next stop, Sedgwick Avenue and Stevenson Place 2. Transfer available to BX10. This stop is Sedgwick Avenue and Stevenson Place 2. Next stop, Sedgwick Avenue and Dickinson Avenue. This stop is Sedgwick Avenue and Dickinson Avenue. Next stop, West Moshulu Parkway South and Paul Avenue. This stop is West Moshulu Parkway South and Paul Avenue. Next stop, West Moshulu Parkway South and Jerome Avenue. Transfer available to the Ford train. This stop is West Moshulu Parkway South and Jerome Avenue. Next stop, Grand Concourse and Van Cortlandt Avenue East. This stop is Grand Concourse and Van Cortlandt Avenue East. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 204th Street. Transfer available to BXM4. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 204th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and Bedford Park Boulevard. Transfers available to the B&D trains. This stop is Grand Concourse and Bedford Park Boulevard. Next stop, Grand Concourse and Minerva Place. This stop is Grand Concourse and Minerva Place. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 196th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 196th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East Kingsbridge Road. Transfers available to the B&D trains. This stop is Grand Concourse and East Kingsbridge Road. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 192nd Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 192nd Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East Fordham Road. Transfers available to the B&D trains in BX12. This stop is Grand Concourse and East Fordham Road. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 187th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 187th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and Field Place. This stop is Grand Concourse and Field Place. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 182nd Street. Transfers available to the B&D trains. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 182nd Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 181st Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 181st Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East Burnside Avenue. Transfers available to BX40 and BX42. This stop is Grand Concourse and East Burnside Avenue. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 179th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 179th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 177th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 177th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and Morris Avenue. Transfers available to the B&D trains. This stop is Grand Concourse and Morris Avenue. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 174th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 174th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East Mount Eden Avenue. This stop is Grand Concourse and East Mount Eden Avenue. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 172nd Street. Transfers available to the B&D trains. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 172nd Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 170th Street. Transfers available to BXM11 and BXM18. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 170th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East Clark Place. This stop is Grand Concourse and East Clark Place. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 167th Street. Transfers available to the B&D trains in BX35. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 167th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and McClellan Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and McClellan Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 165th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 165th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 163rd Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 163rd Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 161st Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 161st Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 158th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 158th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 156th Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 156th Street. Next stop, Grand Concourse and East 153rd Street. This stop is Grand Concourse and East 153rd Street. Next stop, East 149th Street and Grand Concourse. Transfers available to the 2, 4 and 5 trains in Bx19. This stop is East 149th Street and Grand Concourse. Next stop, East 149th Street and Morris Avenue. Transfer available to Bx32. This stop is East 149th Street and Morris Avenue. Next stop, East 149th Street and Cortlandt Avenue. This stop is East 149th Street and Cortlandt Avenue. Next stop, 3rd Avenue and East 144th Street. Transfer available to Bx21. This stop is 3rd Avenue and East 144th Street. Next stop, 3rd Avenue and East 142nd Street. This stop is 3rd Avenue and East 142nd Street. Next stop, 3rd Avenue and East 140th Street. This stop is 3rd Avenue and East 140th Street. Next stop, 3rd Avenue and East 138th Street. Transfer available to Bx1. This stop is 3rd Avenue and East 138th Street. Next stop, East 136th Street and Lincoln Avenue. This stop is East 136th Street and Lincoln Avenue. This is Bx2 to Mott 136th Street. Please exit through the rear door.